Imagine for a moment that the difficulties you face today are not just obstacles, but divine tools shaping a glorious future. What if, looking back, you realize that this moment of trial was the catalyst that revealed your true strength? This perspective can transform your journey, showing that each challenge is an invitation to become the person God planned. The pain you feel now may be the fertile soil where God is planting seeds of resilience, courage, and purpose. What if the reward that awaits is infinitely greater than the weight of suffering? Each overcome trial strengthens your faith and expands your limits, preparing you for a future you cannot yet see. The question is, will you give up or trust that God is working in you? The Christian journey doesn't promise an absence of difficulties, but guarantees that each battle has an eternal purpose. By persevering, you don't just survive, you transform. Struggles build discipline, forge resilience, and reveal the greatness that dwells within you. Stay firm, for God is writing a glorious story through your trials. What if the trial you're facing now were actually forging something extraordinary within you? Something far beyond what you can imagine. How would your perspective change if, in a few years, you looked back and realized that this moment of difficulty was the turning point that made you stronger, more resilient, and aligned with divine purpose? What you're facing today isn't just an obstacle. It's a divine opportunity to transform into the person God dreamed for you to be. What if the reward waiting on the other side of this struggle is incomparably greater than the pain of the process? Each challenge you face is a chance to grow, to overcome limits you didn't even know existed. You have a choice in the face of adversity. You can yield to pressure, abandon the fight, or embrace the journey with faith, seeking wisdom in God and trusting that He is shaping something powerful in you. Those who persevere with courage will be abundantly blessed. Those who resist trials emerge stronger, with unshakable faith and renewed determination. The Bible promises that those who love God and remain faithful will receive the crown of life. Therefore, move forward even when the path seems arduous. You are capable of facing difficult things. If there are no challenges, there will be no transformation. The path that tests your limits is the same one that expands your capacity, revealing who you really are. Difficulties are not just barriers. They are teachers that teach discipline and build resilience. Each overcome obstacle expands your vision of what's possible, challenging what you believed were your limits. When you face what is difficult, you discover that the path that challenges you is also the one that transforms you, molding you into a stronger and more confident version of yourself. For the Christian, the future always holds hope. The divine promise is clear. We are not destined for defeat, but for victory. No matter how difficult the circumstances, God is preparing something even more glorious for us. Our task is to trust, work, and persevere, knowing that each step taken in faith brings us closer to the purpose He has for our lives. The fact that something painful happens doesn't mean God has withdrawn or stopped loving you. On the contrary, He may be planting seeds of blessings that will bloom in a future you cannot yet glimpse. Our challenge is to trust God in the midst of the storm, even when pain seems to consume everything. It's easy to fixate on suffering, but there's a bigger story being written, a divine plan that transcends our understanding. If you're facing a battle, know that God doesn't ask you to win alone, but to remain firm. The blessing is on its way, but it requires you to fight with determination. Put God first and seek His kingdom above all. Allow pain to transform into growth, renewing your mind with God's word. Even the most difficult experiences, those you wish you had never lived, are the ones that shape who you are today. It's not just happy moments that build your confidence. It's the battles that forge your character. While no one chooses to suffer, in retrospect, we can see that God uses these struggles to transform us into the person He called us to be. Each trial is an opportunity to discover the strength that resides in you and the presence of a God who is greater than any challenge. In the first struggles, You may not have chosen the battle, but in the midst of it, you discover who your God is. You realize that greater is He who is in me than any obstacle I face in this world. What if the suffering that seems to want to destroy you is actually molding you to become the person God planned? Yes, it's possible. Pain may be the instrument God uses to reveal His purpose in your life. One day, perhaps still in this life, or certainly in eternity, you will look back and see that every difficulty had a purpose. What if the problem is our limited view of suffering? We tend to see pain as something to be avoided at all costs, but James in his letter challenges us with a revolutionary perspective, considering trials as opportunities for growth. Suffering is not the end, but the beginning of a powerful transformation. The paradox of joy in the midst of difficulties. James presents us with a revolutionary statement. Consider it pure joy. Pure joy when our existence seems to be falling apart around us. James is proclaiming something truly radical. Trials do not constitute obstacles to be avoided at all costs. They represent valuable opportunities for personal and spiritual growth. Reflect on this profound truth. If God's supreme objective is to transform us into stronger, wiser people more like His character, wouldn't it be logical that He would allow us to experience situations that shape and refine us? What if the tribulations you are desperately trying to escape are, in reality, the precise tools the Almighty is using to strengthen you and prepare you for great purposes? Understanding God's love through adversities, we often have the mistaken tendency to assume that simply because life presents challenges and difficulties, God must not truly love us. But what if, precisely because He loves us unconditionally and deeply, He allows us to go through challenging moments that prepare us for the future? A truly loving father doesn't protect his child from all of life's difficulties. On the contrary, He wisely allows specific challenges that will adequately prepare him for the battles to come. An experienced and dedicated coach pushes the athlete beyond their comfort zone, knowing that's where real growth happens. A competent educator doesn't offer easy assessments that add no value. He continues to consistently challenge his students to expand their horizons and grow intellectually and morally. A wise father doesn't remove all obstacles from his child's path, but patiently teaches him to overcome them with determination and wisdom. This is divine pedagogy in action. Transformation. Through suffering, the Apostle Paul articulates this truth eloquently in Romans 5, declaring, "We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, in turn, develops character, and character generates hope." Genuine and authentic faith is not proven in moments of comfort and tranquility, but rather in how we react and respond when life becomes challenging and uncertain. Here is a fundamental truth that deserves to be repeated incessantly. The more difficult experiences we go through, the greater our capacity becomes to overcome future obstacles. The more trials we face with courage, the stronger we become to continue overcoming even greater challenges. Therefore, instead of desperately fleeing from tribulations, how about embracing them as an integral part of the divine transformation process? The liberating truth about your capacity, because once again, here is the liberating truth you need to internalize. You can accomplish difficult things. You are capable of facing seemingly impossible challenges. You possess within yourself the necessary strength to overcome adversities. And when you truly accept this challenge and act with courage, you don't just survive life's storms, you grow exponentially. You become a better and more resilient version of yourself. You progressively become more like the extraordinary person God designed you to be from the beginning. Lessons from nature. About growth, consider these powerful examples from nature that illustrate profound spiritual principles. A developing butterfly must struggle intensely to emerge from the restrictive cocoon, for it is this effort that develops its strong and functional wings. If someone, moved by misdirected compassion, frees it prematurely by cutting the cocoon, It will never be able to fly properly. A muscle needs to be exercised, stretched, and even subjected to certain controlled tension to strengthen and develop. If you consistently avoid the temporary pain of training, you will remain physically weak and limited. A tree that faces regular storms and strong winds develops deep roots and a resistant trunk. However, a tree that grows exclusively in perfect and protected climatic conditions is easily toppled by the first storm it encounters. The greater purpose behind difficulties. God is not interested only in providing momentary and superficial relief for our problems. He is actively molding and sculpting us. He is transforming you and me so that we can become something infinitely greater than we ever imagined possible. It is crucial to understand that not all suffering has the primary intention of hurting or destroying us. Some sufferings that arise in our life trajectories actually carry a greater, broader, and more glorious purpose than we can perceive in the moment of pain. To develop genuine spiritual courage, lasting resistance, and unshakable perseverance in life, you need to learn to look beyond the immediate pain of the present moment to see something greater and more significant on the other side of the experience. Avoiding the trap of victimization. If we spend all our time and mental energy focused exclusively on present pain, we completely lose the transformative purpose behind it. And consequently, we find ourselves trapped in a destructive cycle of self-pity and bitterness. This should serve as a powerful incentive for some of you, because you can finally understand. This is why I went through some of the most difficult and challenging experiences of my life. I went through storms to become a stronger, wiser person, more capable of positively impacting the world around me. The continuous journey of growth. If you choose to grow consciously, learn continuously from your experiences, and become someone fundamentally different. If you decide to trust the Lord for a brighter future and a more beautiful narrative for your existence, then you will continue to develop extraordinarily. Failure does not represent the end of your story. You have to mentally overcome failure and realize this liberating truth. Failure cannot and should not permanently define your life. You are not a failed person by nature. There is only one way to truly become a failure, and that is by completely giving up the fight. The fundamental choice: persevere or give up prematurely. You are declaring that your story is over. And my responsibility is, every time I fail or stumble, to get up with renewed determination and consciously redirect my life toward Jesus Christ. It's not constantly looking back and lamenting, "Look at all my past failures and disappointments." It's natural to fall, as this is a universal experience we all share. I also fail regularly. But what matters is pointing our lives back to Jesus with renewed hope after each fall. Don't give up on your journey. Triumphant comebacks are always possible, until the moment you decide to give up completely. Simply don't give up, regardless of circumstances. The universal principle of success: no one ever gives up and simultaneously reaches the top of any area of life. No one ever gives up and becomes an exceptional father or extraordinary mother. Number 1 gives up and builds an incredible and lasting marriage. No one gives up and achieves true financial freedom. No one gives up and develops an experience with God that is genuinely miraculous day after day. The divine equation of possibility with man. Certain things are truly impossible, and you're right to think this way. You may believe that you're complete. Recovery is impossible, and it really is, for you, operating only with your own limited strength. But with God, absolutely everything becomes possible. This is not just a motivational phrase. It's a solid biblical promise. Giving up when we encounter something that seems completely impossible may seem like the rational, reasonable, and self-preserving attitude to take. But what is genuinely impossible for you and me represents absolutely nothing to Almighty God. However, you need to choose to actively follow Him. The promise of tomorrow. You need to move forward with determination and not give up on your journey. The discovery that will completely change your life may be waiting for you just around the next bend in the road. I don't know exactly what challenges or difficulties you're facing right now, but I can guarantee one thing. The sun will rise again tomorrow. And that sunrise symbolizes that there is a fresh new opportunity reserved specifically for you. Therefore, not just a new identity, a new spiritual authority, a new prosperity in all areas and greater intimacy with God, but a new opportunity is literally on the horizon waiting for you. The constant presence of God. God knows exactly where you are right now. He knows perfectly what you need in each specific situation. He cares deeply about you and is present with you in any situation, in all life situations, without exception. He is here today. He will be with you tomorrow, and He will remain by your side forever. If this message touched your heart, and you want to discover how to apply these principles practically in your daily life, subscribe to the channel for the next videos. You can't miss them. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this word of hope today. Comment below, what was the greatest lesson God taught you through a difficulty? Your story can inspire other people.